Hello there, everybody. This is Jungushtarya, and today we're going to basically for another episode of the crossover battles. Both of these characters will be combating together as the first and versus to another one, and let's see who would win in a battle against one another. So we're going to the second episode, and here we have from the 2019 the Primal 1 characters in Neanderthal, Spear versus the original person from our timeline is Leonidas. So let's take a look. Is the Spear, first created in 2019 on animated series of Primal, was actually the caveman of alternate prehistoric Earth who struggles to survive the violent and brutal conditions of the primordial world, and the process forges unlikely bond with a dinosaur that was used to be a fang. As the adult caveman, Spear has rugged, vigorous, feisty, and primate-like traits. He has long, shaggy black hair and thick eyebrows and long canine teeth, and is covered in large amounts of raw body hair. He has very large physically about his arms and legs and are extra wide in comparison to the rest of his body. As far clothing as goes, Spear usually wears a brown loincloth through in the cold death during the third episode. Officially killed the woolly mammoth during this battle and makes a fur coat from its hide. After his successive drinking the black liquid, or I should say the serum, Spear extensively grew and is much bigger that would transform himself into a hulking monster on the fifth episode of The Rage of the Ape Man, and that successfully managed to stop this bigger and more muscular than the Krug. His body also underwent eventual changes. He possesses a bulging forehead, his teeth grow semi-sharper, his skin changes to a blue, and his eyes turns to a bloodshot red, just like Krug's. Even his successive idea just before he changed back to normal at the sixth episode, his friendship dinosaur Fang officially nearly died, but she was intentionally still alive. Spear is extremely brave and doesn't hesitate to fight larger creatures. Despite often being outclassed as an experienced hunter, he is not bothered by the violence and feels like a little empathy when slaughtering the animals and dinosaurs. Despite this, he is still shown to care for his family, sympathizes with Fang when he sees her offspring to be attacked, risking to his life to protect them, and feeling devastated when he fails to take pity on the weak and helpless creatures. Before his successive kill by the last creature, who was the horned Tyrannosauroidea, was the leader. After his appearances, which his family were devoured by them as the horned packs of Tyrannosauroidea, and which he is officially angered just before the Spear and Fang joined together to travel the entire journey. Leonidas, officially known himself as a Leonidas the First, was actually the king of the Greek city-state of Sparta on his 17th of the Aegean line upon his dynasty, which that was basically himself as a descent from the mythological demigod Heracles or Hercules, and Anacamus was actually the son of King Anaxandridas II, but he actually succeeded his half-brother King Leonidas I to the throne, and this is how he battled against the Persians. And in 540 BC, he was born, even his early life. According to the Herodotus, Leonidas' mother was not only the father's wife, but also the father's niece, and had been barren for so long that the Ephors and five eventually elected administrators of the Spartan constitution tried to prevail upon the king Anaxandrius II to set her aside to take another wife. Anaxandrius refused, claiming his wife was blameless, whereupon the emperors agreed to allow him to take a second wife without setting aside his first and second wife descendants by the children of Sparta, one of the seven sages of Greece. Prominently, a born son Cleomenes, however, 1 year after Cleomenes' birth, Alexandria's first wife also gave birth to a son Darius. just before Leonidas was born, and forbiddenly he actually became himself the early Spartan king. Upon receiving a request from the confederated Greek forces to aid defending against the Persian invasion, Sparta was officially constituted the oracle at Delphi. The oracle said to have made the following prophecy in hexaeder verse, and that's what she asked Leonidas, that there will be other battles against Xerxes will not be fully enough. Just before the battle of Thermopylae, until he is unsuccessful to enough, Leonidas has sent his 300 hoplite Spartans to join the battle and slaughter 10,000 Persians. Just before his failure, his armed forces were weakened until by now Leonidas was killed at least too much, that including anyone else who tries to attack him first, and even Antinous is also dead and just upon before them. Now this gotta be a huge fight together by them or something else, and combat will start till any minutes, and the winner is going to be Leonidas. Well, Leonidas is a much powerful Spartan. How he is, he actually uses his shield, helmet, and spear. He could use this spear at this caveman person who is not actually doesn't speak, but at least even he has a sword that would slaughter him for good, because he's actually at times for his battle out, which Leonidas does have his last stand against the entire Persians, over the 10,000 of them, of his death in 480 BC when he was just 60 years old. And that's not any point. But spear, and he has about that, which he does have about the abilities. He could use about the excellent climbing skills, and he can eclipse or trees with relative case. Spear long capacity is quite high, and he has the most notable physical ability in his great strength. He picked up in a swollen large rock and hard enough to break the leg of one of the Tyrannosaurs that killed his family, also tossing his spear through the killer Tyrannosaurus, then later pushed Fang onto the makeshift stretcher in a single-handed volley, pulled her for smiles with the little struggle due to her weight and extra water carries. And Spear does have about combats, which he was very strong and skilled fighter. His most vulnerable weapon in his namesake, which he can also use in combat, making him the fierce opponent in the battle. Well, sometimes for Leonidas, it's much even kind of stronger to kill any thousands of Persians, which he doesn't killing the other creatures. Because of him, he knows how to drench the entire gods with their blood. So that's it for the folks today, and I hope you enjoyed the next video. If you subscribe to my channel, and it's going to be next for another episode of the Crossover Battles. So see you next time, and farewell.